Hello and welcome to this exclusive episode of Power Talk from DistribuELEC, DistribuELEC 2024, where we will focus on key exhibitors, the products and technologies being showcased, and of course, their assessment on the market. APAR Industries is a diversified billion-dollar company with global presence and is a trusted manufacturer and supplier of conductors, a wide range of cables, specialty oils, polymers, and lubricants. To understand the company in greater detail, let's go across to Mr. Kushal Desai, who is the Chairman and Managing Director of APAR Industries. So if we see industry as a whole, we have seen lots of technology being developed during the past decade or so. The energy transition is happening. What's your take on that, sir?
Today if you see, electricity as a percentage of the energy mix, it's at about 20%. And when you look 25-30 years down, into the 2050s, the energy consumption is expected to double. And within that, the intensity of electricity is further expected to double. So from 20% to go to 40%. So you're looking at a 4x increase in terms of electricity. Now we already have an issue today of the carbon emissions. We are already exceeding the sort of carbon emissions that we should be. When electricity is at 100. So what happens when it goes to 200? So I think that is a very important question and consideration to have. So most of this energy addition that's happening is going to happen in renewable energies and in energies which don't have any emissions, zero emission. And in fact, it will replace some of the current energy sources to finally bring down the emissions to the level that it needs to. So you've got solar, you've got wind, and you've got other forms of renewable energy which are being worked on, but these two will be the two primary drivers.
APAR Industries has a presence in many segments. It's a diversified company. What is going to drive the growth in future for your company?
So I think the biggest growth is going to come from this whole renewable energy addition, which I just mentioned, all the way from generation through to distribution. The second major area that we see is in mobility, in the movement. So what's happening is that if you want to reduce emissions, again, you need to move to an electrical form, which has zero emission. So you are seeing that buses are becoming electric. There is an emphasis on adding a lot of railway infrastructure. Because even if India has moved from diesel to an electric network for railways. So we've built a whole portfolio of products, right from copper conductors, copper alloy conductors, which are used in the railway electrification, right down to all the cables which go into different types of locomotives, coaches, Vande Bharat trains, then your electric buses, the wiring in the bus for two-wheelers, for four-wheelers, the electric charging circuit. So, a whole lot of products around that electric and the mobility space. So, the other third major area of growth in particularly our conductor business is reconductoring old transmission lines so that they can carry much more power on routes, where there is no additional right-of-way that's available. So you have an existing line, you need to bring down that line and replace it with a new line using the same tower infrastructure. Right. And do it in pieces because the line is actually a live line. And we have solutions in place which we've developed where we can go right up to 300% more power on the same line.
So, Mr. Chaitanya contributes highest revenue as far as your business verticals are concerned. Going forward, can we see some shift in this as a renewable e-mobility at the center stage?
Definitely. The renewable energy is definitely driving a lot of the business and demand for the conductors, cables, transformers, and a lot of our products goes into the transformer industry also. So we see this growth happening and this phenomena continuing for another decade or so in India and globally as well. And as far as the conductor business is concerned, we are seeing also the customer requirements are slightly changing now in line with what the demand is coming in terms of the renewable energy. The system needs to be far more robust. So there is more inherent throughput of power which is available. Also, as we heard from the minister earlier, there is a lot of emphasis to reduce the line losses. It is very credible that already India is at 15% down from 27%. Now the next goal is to reach 12%, and a lot of the conductors will be actually able to have a low loss of the product.
The government has imposed anti-dumping duties for various products. A few of the products they've announced very recently, 3 products they have added further. So would you like something similar for electrical equipment segment as well?
What I found is that the Indian government has been extremely supportive of the Indian industry to protect any unlawful practice like dumping, and they are following the WTO guidelines very perfectly and imposing wherever there is a legitimate requirement to be, imposing an anti-dumping duty and removing the unfair trade practice of dumping. As far as the products of APAR is concerned, we are actually able to compete, and there is not much dumping on conductors and cables in the Indian industry, at least as of now. But I am confident that if it were to arise in the future, then definitely the government of India will support the Indian industry.
So now if I talk about APAR Industries participation in this DistribuELEC, BuildELEC exhibitions, could you tell us about the essence of your exhibit and also give us an overview of some of the key innovations visitors will experience here?
See, we are an innovating company. If you look at the history of APAR, most of the products have been developed by us. We work very closely with the defense. Whatever imported cables with defense is using, we're trying to convert it into our specification, our design, going forward with what Honorable Prime Minister said of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So we're working very closely with defense. If you look at Vande Bharat train, more than 90% of the cables being used in Vande Bharat are of APAR. There are about 30 to 33 odd trains which are on the track. Besides that, we have developed a fire survival cable which can sustain a fire at a temperature of 1050 centigrade. But most importantly, we are the only company who is doing an electron beam house wire. The objective was to showcasing the superiority of our product vis-a-vis the normal wires which are being used. With that in mind, we thought of showcasing our products in this exhibition.
As India aspires for $5 trillion economy and lots of infrastructure development is already happening, some of them are already completed and many are actually yet to come. So what sort of short and mid-term as well as long-term objectives you have for your companies?
So, this is a huge opportunity. This opportunity is not only within India, but it's also all around the world, because all countries in the world who've been signing up, the COP27, now COP28 now. So I see a big benefit for companies that are in this whole electrical infrastructure space, including ourselves, as this execution takes place. So we see that as being the single largest, sort of primary driver. So growth numbers, can be easily in excess of 10-15% a year, and could be for a significant period of time as all this infrastructure is being built out. And what we are trying to do as a management is to make sure that we have the right products in place, we have the right approvals in place, because you need a license to supply, in different geographies.
So thank you so much, Mr. Kushal Desai, Mr. Chaitanya Desai and Mr. Shashi Amin for sharing your insights with us. We wish you the best of luck here at DistribuELEC 2024.